Hello there, welcome to the Perfume Experience. Welcome to a special video. So some of you have been requesting for a video on festive fragrances, and I thought let's do one as per your request. So today I'm going to talk to you about 12 fragrances that I think are excellent for festive seasons, especially for a lot of celebrations that are going to happen from Diwali onwards, right? So it could be weddings, it could be just the festivities itself, but during this point of time a lot of you would want to have fragrances that are going to get you compliments, that people would be able to like being around you. All of that happens. There is a lot of close encounters that happen during this point of time. So generally fragrances around this time should be very mass appealing. One should be easily likable for everything, and then of course you would also want to kind of have a unique signature smell that is slightly different from everybody else as well, right? So these are some things that might be running in your background when you think about fragrances for festivities. And of course you would also want to have something special, something that's very unique that you would want to wear during this point of time. So with that in mind, I've looked at these 12 fragrances and I thought let's start with as low as about 475 rupees for a 50 ml. So that's how we can go as low as that much to as high as probably about 4,000 rupees. So you would get a variety of fragrances in that particular segment of price point, right? So with that note, let's get started. You're watching the Perfume Experience. My name is Rodney. Let's get going right after this intro. Alright, so let's begin. So the first fragrance that I want to talk to you about in this particular video with the price point of about 475 rupees is an alt that you get from the house of RJ Perfumers for a fragrance called as Carolina Herrera Men Prive. Okay, so this is a very nice decant that I've had from him for a long time. So this has been with me for more than a year, and I have actually featured this in his house series as well. That of all the fragrances that he had sent me, there were a couple of them that really stood out, and one was of course Sacred Wood by Kilian. The other was this for me was a fantastic fragrance because this is a fragrance that actually has got a very woody, leathery, slightly sweet kind of a fragrance with a little bit of a boozy accord, because this opens with actually some whiskey, some citrus elements, then it's got some tonka beans, it's got some amber, it's got some vanilla, it's got a little bit of a leather vibe to it as well, but it's very mild, very beautifully done, and I think this is a fantastic piece of alternate that you can get from a house that's very affordable as well. So RJ Perfumers fragrance of Carolina Herrera's Men Prive is a fantastic fragrance for a festivities time, because it's got that light sweetness, it's got that light boozy element to it, it's got a light amount of leather, a very woody element, very powdery, vanilla kind of a fragrance that is going very well, and you will be absolutely be able to get a lot of compliments. People will like this around you. It would smell very good in the air as well, and of course very good lasting as well. About 5-6 hours is something that you should get. I will put in the details of every seller or house that I'm featuring here in this particular video, and you can kind of get in touch with them to get this particular fragrance. So the one on this list is Carolina Herrera Men Prive, and you can get this from the house of RJ Perfumers. Moving along, a very underrated fragrance from the house of Maison Alhambra. This is called as EXclusif Safforn. Now this is a fragrance that's an alt of Saffron Lazuli from the house of Carolina Herrera again, and this is two fragrances back to back from them, but this is a very, very beautiful fragrance, super underrated. This is slightly sweeter, it's got a lot of saffron, of course, it's got a lot of woody elements, it's got a little bit of a vanilla, it's got a little bit of an iris kind of a vibe going as well, and of course this also has got a bit of a leather, but this isn't in the both of these fragrances that I featured isn't the type of leather that you would think is animalic vibe as such at all. These are more woody fragrances, these are more sweet fragrances, they are more aromatic, powdery, with a little bit of a metallic vibe as well on this particular fragrance. Extremely beautiful and very complimenting type of a fragrance. People would absolutely love to have this sniff around you, and this will last about 4-5 hours roughly. You might want to do a little bit of a respray. Overall, from a festivities point of view, when you have fragrances that have got a little bit of a sweetness, a little bit of a woody element, those are the fragrances notes that I think bring out a divine element as well. So I think this is an excellent fragrance to try and get, and this is very pocket friendly. Again, you should be able to get this under 1,500 rupees. This is EXclusif Safforn from the house of Maison Alhambra. Number 3 on this particular list is another fragrance from the house of Maison Alhambra. This is John Lowe Matiere. Now this is one of those fragrances when I tried for the first time last year, I was absolutely blown away by it, and that particular video actually did a quite a good amount of numbers as well, because that was one of the first reviews I think that came out for this particular fragrance. And this is a gem. This is an underrated gem, because this is a fragrance that actually opens up with a lot of floral notes, but the floral vibe is more of a plumacious type of a vibe. Now this actually has got narcissus, it's got jasmine, it's got a bit of rose, it's got a bit of oud, it's got frankincense and patchouli. But the way this particular scent profile feels, it feels like as if it's a sweet, plumacious, rosy, slightly woody, and a little bit of an incensey type of a fragrance. Very beautiful. Now, people who don't like ombre namard, and if you've been looking for something along the lines of a rose fragrance, but made very differently, then this is something you should definitely try, because this smells absolutely wonderful. One, it is definitely sweeter, so there is that sweet element to it as well. But the way this particular fragrance lasts 7-8 hours easy on your skin, in fact more than that, at least in Bangalore weather. But even if you're at a colder region, it will work absolutely fantastic. And this is one of those fragrances, again, can get you a lot of compliments, because it feels very, very nice in the air. For me, it feels like there's a lot of raspberry plum kind of tart elements that's going into this particular fragrance. However, it has got a lot of floral elements working for it, and the oud is absolutely a no oud kind of a fragrance. There is just the namesake oud in this. It is mostly the frankincense, the roses, the jasmine. That's what brings this kind of a very tart, plumacious type of a vibe. Absolutely fantastic. If you're able to find this particular fragrance for about 1700, 1800 rupees, sub 2000 rupees, if you're able to get, you should definitely get this. This is beautiful. John Lowe Matiere. This is an alternate of Louis Vuitton's Matiere Nova, I think so. I think that's the fragrance this is going for. Fantastic fragrance. You should definitely try this one. Number 4 on this list is a fragrance from one of the houses called Scentedelic, and it's their own creation called as Moksha. Now this is, in my opinion, one of the best sandalwood fragrances that you can get out there. This is fabulous in the way this particular fragrance opens. It's a sweet, natural, I think it also has got some natural sandalwood as well, and it's also got some compound of sandalwood, which is also very high quality. So because of which the sandalwood smells so real and so good, and it's got a lot of iris going for it as well, along with a little bit of a woody elements like vanilla and all of that. But primarily it's a sandalwood, iris, that kind of a fragrance, which is absolutely blissful, I would say. And especially if you're planning to do some puja and all of that, and you wear this, it is going to get you a lot of attention. Okay, people around you are absolutely going to notice this. This is a lovely fragrance for evenings, because it's got a sweet note to it, it's got a little bit of an iris note to it, it's got that powdery vanilla type of a vibe. Very long lasting fragrance, easily does 7-8 hours on your skin easy. It also projects very well as well, so lasting is not a problem, projection is not a problem. Absolute compliment getter. And for me, I feel this is one of those fragrances that essentially puts that divine feeling in you when you're doing any of those rituals that you want to do in your house. This is absolutely wonderful. You should try it. There are, I think, 2 or 3 renditions of it, like Absolute and 2.0. I'm talking about the original one that came out almost a year or a year and a half back. So this is Moksha from the house of Scentedelic that you should definitely try out if you like a sandalwood kind of a fragrance. Next, a fragrance from the house of Hasan Oud. This is one of my favorite fragrances from a festivities point of view. This is Luxe Oud, and just look at the juice color on it. Very dark, very a bold kind of a fragrance. Now this is for somebody who would want to stand apart in a special occasion like this, because this has got a note of basically a lemon along with pink pepper and a little bit of like a rose and a lot of oud elements as well. So it's kind of smells absolutely beautiful. It's got this ambery tone to it, along with a little bit of a lemon. So the bittersweet lemon element is what makes this particular fragrance very, very different to it. Now the lemon note on this particular fragrance is going along with saffron and rose. So there is a sweet element that's there, and then this this lemony element with a little bit of a pink pepper, geranium, that kind of a vibe. And of course it's got a little bit of a oud as well. So there is that woody kind of a vibe, but it's mostly an ambery, sweet, slightly sweet kind of a fragrance with a little bit of a bittersweet element along with a little bit of a peppery element. Now this was designed by Christian Provenzano, and this is one of those fragrances that really smells rich in its class. A very distinct type of a fragrance that you will not find anywhere else is what I would say. Very unique, very beautifully created. Long lasting fragrance again, does really good 6 to 8 hours time. Projects, I would say, about Loud is what I would say. Very nice scent profile. Overall very appealing when you think about festivities, when you want to wear something different. It's got a little bit of a mature type of a vibe that you would want to wear, then definitely you can consider wearing this from the house of Hasan Oud called Luxe Oud. Next, a fragrance from the house of Zimaya. This is Sharaf blend. Now, most of you do know this. This is an alternate of the popular Angel Share from the house of Kilian. Now, this is a fragrance that doesn't need any kind of introduction. This is straight out cognac. It's got cinnamon, it's got some praline, it's got some truffle, it's got some sweet elements, it's got some woody element, vanilla kind of a vibe. Absolutely gorgeous type of fragrance, especially for celebrations. You will smell royal, you will smell absolutely wonderful. People around you will smell very people would want to come around you. That's how I would kind of put it, because this is going to attract people very much. Beautiful fragrance. I would say that if you have a Latafa Camera with you, you can definitely wear that, or if you don't, then you can definitely consider this, because this I feel is more closer to the Kilian's Angel Share, because in the dry door you kind of get a coffee type of a vibe which is not there in Camera, but you kind of get this in this. Very beautiful fragrance. Again, lasting is decent, I would say, 4 to 5 hours time. Projection is soft to little bit of a loud kind of thing. You would need to wear a lot of sprays as such, but the radius that you have around you and the fragrance, that the aura that this particular fragrance build is something really beautiful. So a very nice boozy concussion that you can absolutely enjoy. You will smell like a little bit of like a gourmand, like a sweet that's happening in your house. So because of that praline vibe, very nice fragrance. You should consider Zimaya's Sharaf blend as one of the beautiful fragrances for your festivities. Half the list down, let's go into some more fragrances, and this time it's another Middle Eastern fragrance called as Prestige Arabia Ishtar Citrus Oud. Now this is absolutely blissfully good fragrance, because this has got that fruity element for people who like a fresh fragrance still and don't want to go into more darker tones. Then you still want to have a fresher fragrance that's got a little bit of a special attention to it, then definitely this one, because this has got a lot of those jasmine elements, it's got a little bit of woody elements, it's got a lot of pineapple, oak moss, that kind of thing. This is, my opinion, is an alternate to Nishane's Ashivat, and this is kind of done very well. Or you can think about it as an all-out clone of Mansera's Sadrat Boys Intense. Okay, in fact, that is what this particular fragrance goes for, but the DNA is a little like that. You have a bit of a suede leather vibe to it as well, slight sweetness, a good amount of pineapple, oak moss kind of a vibe as well. Very beautifully done fragrance, though the notes profile talk about a little different element, but it's a woody, slightly leathery, sweet, fresh kind of element as well, because there's a lot of pineapple and floral vibe going for it, which gives that very beautiful luxurious feeling. So if it's a daytime that you want to be a part of your rituals and celebrations, then you want something lovely to wear with long lasting performance like 7-8 hours, soft to medium loud projection, very beautiful scent profile, high quality scent profile, especially when you think about Mansera's Sadrat Boy Intense, then you can definitely consider getting Ishtar Citrus Oud from the house of Prestige Arabia. This should be about the price point of about 3,300 rupees, for around that price point. Community sellers might sell it a little less. For that price point, I think this is a fantastic fragrance for day wear that you can look at wearing. Next, a fragrance that is absolutely made for celebrations. This is Blue Oud from the house of Ahmed Al Maghrabi. A fantastic fragrance that opens with a lot of, leather and oud kind of an element, but brings you a tone of sandalwood. So the note profile of this leather and the oud coming together actually gives you a more sandalwood kind of a sweet kind of a vibe, with a little bit of an incensey vibe and a lot of spicy elements like geranium on all of that supporting in the background. But it's an out and out kind of a sandalwood kind of a fragrance with a lot of sandalwood note to it, cedar wood and all of those elements, but it has got a bit of a sharper opening because of that leather vibe to it. But overall, it would smell absolutely beautiful, very divine, very elegant, especially for people who would want a very long lasting fragrance that does about 6 to 8 hours easy on skill, projects really well, and of course liked by a lot of people around you. Then you can definitely go in for this. This is, in my opinion, a very beautifully done fragrance, very high complementing element type of fragrance, and because Ahmad al-Maghrabi fragrances have got a lot of concentration, so lasting projection is not a problem at all. You get a very beautiful signature smell that's mixed with a lot of oak mossy vibe as well. There's a little bit of a mossy vibe as well that you get, but more of that leather, more of the wool, and a little bit of that beautiful sandalwood that you can think about. Not like the Moksha where the sandalwood is more natural. Here the sandalwood is light hints in the background but plays very, very well. Very beautiful fragrance to consider again, called Blue Oud from the house of Ahmad al-Maghrabi. Next, a fragrance that actually goes by the name of Sandalwood. This is from the house of Ibrahim Al-Qureshi, called as Sandalwood, and probably the most expensive fragrance on this list, going about at 4,000 rupees. Now, this is a fragrance that's called Sandalwood, but it actually feels like you're wearing a rose and a raspberry, coming together, along with a little bit of a sandalwood and a little bit of a cedar wood. That is the type of a fragrance. Very unique in my opinion, compared to dark lavender or blue wood. Very, very different, and it is underrated again. Not a lot of people talk about it because people like blue wood, which because it's leading towards ombre namard, and I like dark lavender. Very, very nice, but this feels even different because this has got a very sweet type of an opening again. It's got a very tart element because of raspberry, and then there is a rose. Then there is the woody elements like cedar wood, which brings that dry woody element, and then there is the sandalwood that brings the whole other element of powderiness, right? And of course, because of this note profile, it's also got a little bit of amber as well. So there is that ambery type of a vibe. Very unisex in my opinion, very mass appealing. So this is one of those fragrances that both of you can easily wear, and you will absolutely wonderfully smell very good. So the thing about Ibrahim Al-Qureshi fragrances again is that they are long-lasting fragrances. You wear this, it starts with this raspberry and rose note, and then it moves eventually to a sandalwood, cedar dry down, and then it stays like that for about 8-9 hours easily. On your apparels also, you can easily get a much long lasting scent profile, and the performance is good as well. The projection is also pretty good. You will get about 2 to 3 feet of projection easily. Overall, very classy perfume for festivities, and this is and for celebration, even for weddings and all of that, you can definitely wear. It doesn't have that typical rosewood combo at all. It's more of rose and raspberry, so there's a lot of plumacious tart elements that comes together, smelling absolutely wonderful, delightful, not overly sweet, just about mild, very woody, very mature, beautiful fragrance from the house of IAQ, called as Sandalwood. It is actually called Al-Wafiya Sandalwood. Number 10 on this particular list is a fragrance from an Indian house called Balsaq. I did feature them recently. This is one of their fragrances called Modern Woodsman, and I think this is fantastic for festivities. Now, because this is a fragrance that actually has got a little bit of a lavender, powdery, a woody kind of a vibe. This is a fragrance that will remind you of a blend between Sauvage Elixir and Hugo Boss Elixir. So it's got those oriental spices, it's got that cinnamon, it's got that cardamom, that kind of a vibe, but made slightly different. So I could have easily suggested to you Latafa's Asad or Khadlaj Gate, which are fantastic Sauvage Elixir clones. But then if you think about a fragrance that you want a little bit of a Hugo Boss vibe, to have that woody vibe to it, to have that a little more of that oriental spicy element, aromatic vibe, and a little bit of the powdery element, this is fantastic. Again, this you should easily get it about sub 1,500 rupees from their website. So another very long lasting fragrance, easily does 7 to 8 hours on your skin, much beyond that on your apparel, projects super loud, very beautiful, and it's got that characteristic of a typical celebration type of a fragrance. So for festivities, this would be absolutely wonderful because it's got a very nice woody element going for it, slight amount of sweetness, mild sweetness I would say. Overall, categorically loud, beautiful fragrance that you can easily get on budget. This is called Modern Woodsman from the house of Balsaq Perfumes. Number 11 on this particular list is one of my favorite fragrances from the house of Dumont. This is the Dumont Nitro Green. Now this is a fragrance for me which I feel like has got a lot of woody elements, sweet, it's got some iris type of a vibe, vanilla type of a vibe, ambery element, powdery, aromatic vibe. And this is supposed to be, in my opinion, it's an alternative of La Male La Parfum and Ultra Male somewhere together, coming together to give you that beautiful Jean Paul Gaultier, signature smell of sweet, powdery, woody, elegant kind of a vibe. Absolutely fantastic, long-lasting fragrance. Again, has got a very nice party kind of a vibe to it. Smells very beautiful. It's got a little bit of a green vibe to it as well. It's got a little bit of that earthy vibe in the sense to say, like a suede leather type of a vibe. Not as sweet as ultra male, but slightly lower than that, but with good balance of woody elements, like vanilla vibe, like cedar wood, like rosewood, that kind of a woody vibe. You will enjoy this particular fragrance because it smells very divine, a party type of a vibe, absolutely. So you can definitely consider wearing this because this will perform 8 to 10 hours easy because it's loud, very loud. So you can also think about it as loud to beast mode kind of a vibe as well. So very loud, beautiful type of woody vibe, a lot of aromatics that you will get, a lot of powdery elements that you will get. Very, very nice, classy fragrance, I would say, Dumont Green. Number 12 on this list is a fragrance that is, I think, absolutely wonderful for celebrations because it's got that smoky, leathery vibe to it, and it's got a little bit of citrus element as well. But overall, I feel this is one of those fragrances that is kind of calling out and saying, come smell me kind of a thing. This is Blue Lavarne's Bakhur. Okay, now this is an alternate of Gissa's Imperial Valley. So this is a fragrance that has actually got oud, it's got smoky elements, it's got leather, it's got a lot of citrusy vibe as well. Overall, very beautiful, very nicely done, something very unique when you think about all of the other fragrances that we have done because of that smoky element, right? And that's what makes this very, very nice. Now the oud on this is there, which is more mild, more woody, so typical wood vibe, but not off-putting in any way. Very welcoming, very nice, in approachable, complimenting type of a fragrance. And because it also has got that incensey vibe that's there along with the leather, so none of them are dominating notes on this particular fragrance. In fact, they are a mild blend of all of them. And what it leads is, it also has got the subtle hints of citrusy floral vibes to it as well, so which is like a little bit of a spicy green elements as well, which makes this particular fragrance very, very nice. So you get slight hints of citrus elements throughout the fragrance in the dry down, but overall I would feel this will work very well. And again, this is extremely value for money. If you're able to get it from Saudi or abroad, you will get this for about 4,000 for a 200 ml, but in India it's difficult to find. So if you're able to get this, it's a very good value for money type of a fragrance, and smells absolutely wonderful because of that lovely vibe of that incensey, leathery oud type of a vibe with a little bit of subtle hints of citrus. Okay, so very beautiful collection of fragrances that you can think about wearing for festivities, and I hope you will have a fantastic Diwali and other festivals that are in and around the corner. And if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe and share, and let me know what are your thoughts about the fragrances that have been recommended here. Do you like them? Do you not like them? Let me know about all of them, and if you like the video, hit the like button and share. So I will see you in another video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.